All right, truth seekers. So this will interest a few of you. There has been a new interview with Austin Steinbart and this individual named Will Sommer. He's a politics reporter for a publication known as The Daily Beast. It states in his bio here, Will Sommer is a politics reporter for Daily Beast and co-hosted podcast Fever Dreams. He previously worked as campaign editor at The Hill and is a political columnist for Washington City paper. Let's look at his recent beauty by Will Sommer. This crowd convinced UFOs are a diversion from voter F. Now, deep within that article, you have this beauty of a sentence. In heavy language about a nefarious cabal and a great awakening, Reese claimed that the new UFO videos were meant to convince people wrongly that the aliens are real before vaporizing much of humanity with energy weapons. The article was written in a biased way, but overall it's a lot of quotations of things people are saying and not a lot of telling you what to think. So that's good, and I commend Will Sommer for not directly commanding his audience to stick with right think. Maybe there's an overall positive purpose for his role in the operation of the Daily Beast. In this interview, Will basically tries to delve into Austin's origin, how specifically Austin tied himself to the Q movement. Let's listen in, and I'll chime in.
I mean, if you could tell me, how did you first become aware of QAnon?
A few days before it started, I was in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a drop of kind of a briefing of what that was going to be.
Okay.
So as you may know, this page, which has 4,953 posts, all on various topics that try to unite various clusters of dissident thinkers into one general direction. This really long series of posts made its debut on October 27th, 2017. In Austin Steinbart's Instagram, he has a photo of the Washington Monument as viewed from the Lincoln Memorial, taken October 25th, 2017, just 2 days before. In this Instagram post, Austin states, impromptu detour to watch the sunrise on our way back from New York, with a thumbs up. What was he doing at Washington, D.C., at the Lincoln Memorial, at the crack of dawn, 2 days before the beginning of this really extensive operation? So in one of my other videos, I featured a clipping from a YouTube video. So one YouTube video uploader took a screen record of another video that was uploaded in October of 2017. It had a very interesting title. I'll show you that now. We have 29 trumped, trouble coming to Washington, Q clearance initiated. Now, the interesting thing about this video is at the time it had 43 views, so hardly no reason to change the title of the video for clout if your ability to gain traction is minimal, primarily due to having a very small number of subscribers, also suggesting a new account. At the time, this individual had 2 subscribers. The upload date of the video, fascinatingly, was October 26, 2017, just 1 day before the deluge of these posts began. So is this individual, Sebastian C., in any way related in his specific role to Austin Steinbart, since both of them seem to have made interesting posts in that key 2-day window, October 25th through October 27th, 2017. So I have to surmise maybe he received his instructions from New York about what was coming. Let's return.
Okay, so you were already like part of this, like it would be fair to say, like in the intelligence community.
I'm more of like, I'm not like an official part of it. I'm more of like a slapstick computer guy that is like a, external subcontractor that they use from time to time. So I was aware of it early on. And if you look back on like my Facebook during 2016, we were doing this thing called Burn Back. And a lot of the media out there likes to say this was a Russian, influence operation. But essentially what we were doing is we were chopping up WikiLeaks into small clips and we were taking it from various standpoints. So from the war files to the civil rights and racial stuff to healthcare, kind of like something for everybody. We were chopping that up and targeting it towards hyper narrow segments of the left and using hashtags, trending hashtags, and then click farms and robots to get that into the feeds of very selected lefties. And we were very effective in getting a lot of them not to turn out. So like black people in Milwaukee, for example, I had a friend that played in the NBA at the time, and we were very effective at hyper-targeting these keyword email clips showing the things like the Clintons, when they were running Arkansas, created an official Confederate holiday, or some of the just crass language they use about Africans Americans in general. And hyper-targeting that into black people in Milwaukee and making them see like, hey, screw this lady. She's not for us.
All right, so just pausing right there, I went to try to find the actual roster for the Milwaukee Bucks for the year 2016-2017. Not to deduce exactly who Austin spoke with, but just simply to see the names of individuals. Perhaps if Austin sees this video, he may point out the individual he talked to. I'm not sure. But for this year, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, we have Michael Beasley, we have Malcolm Brogdon, we have Matthew Dellavedova, we have Spencer Hawes, we have John Henson, we have Thon Maker, we have Chris Middleton, we have Greg Monroe, we have Tony Snell, we have Mirza Teletovic, we have Jason Terry, and then we have Rashad Vaughn. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take my guess of who did Austin talk to help coordinate Operation Burnback, specifically for notifying the black community about the hypocrisy of the DNC. So I'll go with Tony Snell for that. I'm just going to go with that guess randomly. Tony Snell just seems like a guy who might be involved. Now, I went through Austin Steinbart's Facebook page and keyword searched the word black. I found this particular document. I think this was one of the messages that Austin sent to try to demotivate some of the voters. Here's showing how the DNC viewed Black Lives Matter. Specifically, Austin states, in this message dated October 31st, 2016, just days before the election, leaked secret internal memo advising Democrats on how to deal with radical Black Lives Matter movement tactics, limit the number of BLM attendees at the meetings, listen to their concerns, that is, pretend you care. Do not offer concrete support for anything. Delegate further talks to lower level staff. He puts the appropriate hashtags. And so here you have it, an internal memorandum for DCCC staff. And specifically, in the background, it defines BLM, specifically defining BLM as a radical movement. Radical. Look at the tactics section, or you might say the social engineering section. So let's say if you're approached by a BLM activist, the campaign staff should offer to meet with local activists. Invited BLM attendees should be limited. Please aim for personal and small group meetings, because these smaller groups are more easily controlled tactically. They want you to listen to their concerns. Don't offer support for concrete political positions. Frontline district staff should meet with activists. In other words, just have your dedicated frontline staff do all the talking. When you're dealing with quote-unquote radicals, you have to control the setting for the meetings very tightly. You can't offer support for the concrete policy positions because you might become quoted. And then once you're quoted, a trail of accountability is then created. Unfortunately, this tweet only received a single share and 4 interactions. So while Austin did what he was supposed to do, this particular portion of the operation, I'm wondering the degree of traction it managed to garner. Now, if the NBA player had numerous contacts and he himself posted similar things, then I could see that indeed spreading far and wide throughout the community and possibly having an impact on the election. But if this guy is just some sort of IT professional, you gotta ask yourself, what motivation would he have to prepare this specific post just days before the election? I mean, it looks like in this context, he's actually acting as a type of political activist. I mean, very clear here, but why? That in of itself suggests there may be more to this character than you would assume at the surface. So anyways, I encourage you to go through Austin's old Facebook posts because, in this era of extreme diabolical censorship, you would want to preserve any evidence of these messages because you're just not sure how far and how well referenced this individual may be in history books one day. Here's another message he made. Leaked campaign advisors, not a fan of lying. It insults the intelligence of black voters with elite racism that the Clintons should not be seen with. 31909. So here's another WikiLeaks message that he posts here. This is basically an internal memo, I assume creating a warning to David Rock, a very important Democrat media mogul. It appears this individual was caught in some type of lie that would insult the intelligence of black voters. And so Austin was highlighting that. Well, I'd like to cover more, but at this point, I have to retire. There is a lot of potential topics to discuss just from this single interview, so I may cover additional aspects of this interview later. Anyways, thanks for watching.
You disappoint me. You can't scare me with this Gestapo crap. I know my rights. I want my phone call. Tell me, Mr. Anderson, what good is a phone call if you're unable to speak?
All right, let me ask you this, because Trump is he's saying that the CIA is full of bunk. He's saying that the NSA intelligence is worthless. Yeah. You know, he's saying don't listen to these guys, and, well, he's going to be president of the United States, so what happened? Are they risking their entire careers to try to oust him now? And does that indicate that they're serious about this?
They're very serious. Either they are confident they're going to pull off a coup, or else they're setting him up for an assassination.
We know you are.
Sam doesn't care.
We are everywhere.
What do you mean? Why do you keep saying we?
We, the people of the United States. In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, all programmed options, sector searches, and downloaded points of data will lead to this central command.